Hey there, this is Taj, the other Jeff Johnson, and this is my 8th weekly video since my cancer diagnosis. I'll be referring to some notes just off the screen there, so please forgive me. This week did not start out well. It started in the emergency room. I had a severe reaction to Erbitux or Cituximab, the chemotherapy that I was taking, which is actually an immunotherapy, but that's a whole different story. In any event, just imagine fire ants crawling all over your scalp and continuously biting you and your skin bleeding. That's the reaction that I was having. You can see all of these little red dots that you see, and I'm going to move a little bit closer so you can see. They're on my neck. They're down on my chest. This extends all the way down to the bottom of my rib cage and about the same distance down on my back. And this is a reaction to Erbitux. It's an acne-like rash. They call it an acuniform rash because it's similar to acne. It's similar to whiteheads. It's painful and it itches. And the medication that they give you to make it stop hurting and stop itching doesn't work. So hopefully it will head off the infection, which is another possibility. I'm going to move this just a little bit closer just to make sure you can hear me. My voice is, as you can tell, a little raspy. So I spent Sunday night, Monday morning in the emergency room, and my medical oncologist actually tried to talk me into staying on Erbitux. She said that the fact that the rash is so severe and that it's so uncomfortable that means that it's working, and that's great and that's wonderful. And I will tell you that going through cancer treatment makes you a realist. There is no way I could do this for 5 or 6 more weeks. They would have had to lock me in a room and put me in a jacket with no holes in the end of the sleeves because I would have clawed my scalp open to try to make the pain and the itching go away. So we switched to cisplatin on Wednesday. The good news from that, much good news, the radiation oncologist has reduced the number of treatments I will have to have from 40 to 33. That's a total of 69.3 gray, which is GY. It's the unit of measurement for radiation absorption. The standard treatment for the kind of tumor that I have and the location that I have, et cetera, is about 60 to 80 units. So I'm floating right in the middle there. And I'm pretty pleased with that because it means less radiation. Less radiation means heal faster and hopefully reduce side effects. At Wednesday's weekly C visit with my radiation oncologist, he again scoped, took a camera and shoved it up my nose and looked down my throat and gagged me with his ET-like fingers. I'm serious. This guy's finger's like 1.5 times long as mine. And he reaches down there and feels all around. But what he's doing is he's comparing what he felt and the notes that he took the previous week and what he saw and the notes that he took about that the previous week to what he's feeling and seeing on that particular day. And for the second time, he has said Fred is smaller. So I'm very happy about that. My switch to cisplatin on Wednesday was fairly uneventful, except that it did mean a 12-hour-long day at MD Anderson. That would be exhausting if you were healthy. I'm not healthy. I was dead to the world by the end of that day. When I got back to the apartment, I just collapsed. 4 hours in the middle of that was dead time. It was waiting. And so I did get some work done. I also discovered on Wednesday, this is one of those things they really should tell you, that you can buy a parking chip. Typically, there are multiple ways to pay for parking. You can pay cash into a machine and it'll give you a little chip that'll let you get out. You can pay with a credit card going in and use the same credit card going out. Or you can buy one of these little chips. This is plain. It's got a little serial number stamped on the side of it. This is an RFID chip. And what nobody told me until I stumbled across it in a brochure is that having one of these chips gives you in and out privileges in the garage. We'll talk about the dry mouth in a minute. I'm having to drink a lot. So when I have these long breaks, now that I have the chip, I can actually come back to the apartment, do some work, eat lunch here, as opposed to spending more money for lunch there at MD Anderson, that kind of thing. I mentioned dry mouth. Thursday, I noticed dry mouth was starting and diminished taste, and it has gotten progressively worse. They warn you about this in the very beginning. You're getting radiation into the tumor. So when I'm in the mask, my head is leaned back, and the radiation is shooting mostly through here with a block where my vocal cords are. So it's going all in around. It's hitting the lymph node on my right side, your left, shooting the tumor, skipping the vocal cords, and shooting the tumor again. So the salivary glands are being hit, as are the taste buds. And I had thought that that would happen as a slow progression. It didn't. It happened really quickly. Like Wednesday, I didn't notice it, and Thursday I did. I am using multiple products to deal with the dry mouth. The most effective, this is not a commercial, I'm just letting you know what's going on in case you have to deal with this. This is a product called Xylamelts. This is usually available, if not in a big box store, it will be on the shelf in any of the chain pharmacies where their tooth care products are, where the toothpaste, toothbrushes, dental floss, and that kind of thing. This is a really interesting little product in that, and again, not doing a commercial, just letting you know what's going on. So you can see that some of those are white and some of those are kind of tan. The tan part is actually a natural gum adhesive. So you put it in your mouth, it gets a little bit wet, and then you stick this to your gum or to the side of your tooth if you prefer, and it will stay there. You will not swallow it. It will go, it will stay there for about 4 hours, and it's effective for about 4 hours. If you put 2 of them in, they're really effective for about 4 hours, but it's 4 hours, which is great during the day. But at nighttime, it means you're going to wake up in the middle of the night with dry mouth. If you've ever had a cold where your nose was stopped up and you were breathing through your mouth and you woke up and your tongue felt leathery and the inside of your mouth felt dry and your lips were cracked, that's happening every night, twice a night. So anyway, Xylamelts help with that to a certain extent. Biotine toothpaste is another product that was recommended by the folks here at MD Anderson. And all I can really tell about this is that it's keeping my teeth clean and not causing any pain inside my mouth. Can't really taste it. No. Probably the most effective for the dry mouth is this Biotine Dry Mouth Oral Rinse. And it is extremely effective, but it is also extremely overpowering. It says to rinse with a tablespoon, approximately a tablespoon of this for 30 seconds and then spit it out. That's like a marathon to keep that in your mouth for 30 seconds. It's very strong. But these things are working. Drinking lots of water. I also have a baking soda water mix that I have to swish 4 to 6 times a day. Having a hard time remembering to take that with me when I leave the apartment. But these are just the challenges of going through cancer treatment. The loss of taste makes it difficult to eat enough. So I'm supplementing with protein shakes. They taste like vanilla. So that's the ones I've got. The chocolate was a little too strong last week when I tried it. I may try it again now that the taste is going. It might actually taste pretty good. But it's difficult to eat. You really can't sit down and eat 3 meals. You really eat 5 or 6 snacks throughout the day. It makes it hard to continue to work because you've got to stop to prep a quote-unquote meal. Fatigue is really starting to be an issue. My plan has always been to work all the way through treatment. That's getting more difficult, especially since it's getting harder to eat enough to have the energy that I need to work. And so that's becoming a challenge, and I'd appreciate your prayers for that. I am excited about this week for the primary reason that my family's coming to visit me. I am bouncing off the walls. I only really have to make it through 2 days, and then they'll be here Thursday afternoon after my radiation treatment, and I'll get to spend some time with them. We probably won't do anything because, again, I don't have just loads and loads and loads of energy. Hopefully, over the course of the next week or two, the Erbitux rash and the pain that's associated with that will go away. And the other thing I'm excited about, and I want to just backtrack for a minute. I was diagnosed on March 29th. After a number of delays, I started chemotherapy on May 9th and radiation on May 17th. So this is the treatment calendar. And you'll notice it's on May. But at the end of this week, on Friday, I get to turn the page. And I get to see the end. and I'm sorry if I get a little bit emotional, but I've got this and these 4 weeks. So basically I have 5 weeks and I'll be done. If you notice, there are 2 numbers here on Friday, 22 and 21. I'm counting down radiation treatments because Monday is a holiday and I'm not getting radiation today. I'm doing this video on Monday. I'll be getting 2 treatments on Friday, one early in the morning, one later in the afternoon, which will make for a rough weekend next weekend, but that's okay. I've done that once before, and I just needed to rest. But getting to see the end of that, getting to see June 29th, it makes it real. I'm marking those off as I finish them. I'm posting on the Facebook group every time I do a radiation treatment, every time I finish chemotherapy. My daughter has a play that she's performing in, scheduled on July 2nd, and that weekend. But one of the performances is on the 2nd, and I hope to be there. They may have to wheel me in, but I hope to be there. Finally, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And it's still early. I mean, I'm essentially, if you really want to look at it from a radiation perspective, I'm a week and a half into treatment, into 6.5 weeks of treatment. We've got 5 weeks left. This is hard. I'm doing the exercises. I'm following the routines. I'm taking the medications, putting on the ointment to try to keep my skin from getting dried out. That's made more difficult by the Erbitux reaction. I can't shave because of the Erbitux reaction, so the scruffy, if you know me at all, you know that I like for everything that I shave to be shaved nice and neat and smooth, and it's not, and that's annoying. It itches, frankly. But this is harder than I thought it was going to be. And so I really want you to understand how much I appreciate it when you post a like on a Facebook post, or you post a comment and encourage me, or you let me know you're praying for me. There have been days when that one little comment on Facebook was the thing that kept me from just breaking down and crying. And I appreciate that. I really do. I know while my life is turned upside down, yours is going on. And I know you're taking time out of your life to spend time and invest in me, and I do appreciate that. So please keep praying for reduced side effects and no side effects. Please pray for what taste buds I have to stay and for some to return, so I will want to eat. For my appetite to be maintained, I have got to eat to maintain my weight. The other thing I'm doing this week, and this is totally preemptive, we're not planning to do this, but I'm having the meeting with the gastroenterologist to do the assessment in the event that I need a feeding tube. I absolutely do not want a feeding tube. I don't want to do that because I don't want to rely on that. I want to force myself to swallow so that my throat stays as healthy as possible. But I have to be realistic, and if I lose too much weight, they've got to get nourishment in me. So that's an option. We're having that appointment this week. Pray that goes well and that we don't need the feeding tube. Please pray for my energy level. It's when you wake up feeling like you've worked hard all day, it's hard to get going and it's hard to keep going. I really need to work through this to maintain my hours at work, to maintain my health insurance, because I can't afford to pay for this without health insurance. So please pray for that. And please pray for the dry mouth to be reduced or eliminated. It wakes me up in the middle of the night every night, so I'm not getting good rest. You can hear my voice is gravelly. My mouth is dried just from 14 minutes of talking.